everybody. Welcome back to the E3 podcast. I'm Melissa Johnson. Today we have Mahe Zehra on to share with us. We're going to talk about some really interesting things here that I think we haven't really hit on yet on this about balancing life and work. Mahe, you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself so that we kind of get the background of who you are and what you're up to?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, Melissa. So basically, my training, my background is all in mathematics and data science. Since a very young age, I was really drawn to numbers and puzzles and, figuring patterns out. But at the same time, I was also very passionate about creating stuff, about colors, about art. So while I went on to do my master's in mathematics and then operations research, the art side of my brain kind of kept me company throughout my life and really helped me balance basically my everyday. So currently what I do is I head a software company where we do a lot of data science and AI work. We're based in Lahore, Pakistan. The company's name is FiveRivers Technologies. But on the side, I run my art blog and I make videos, and I do a lot of ebooks that sell on Amazon. So basically, I feel I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky that I get to explore both sides of my brain, the right and the left, and, just balance out my life. It's not like, I'm doing too much in any one direction. There's always this wonderful balance.
I love that. So should mention, I've been in one of your books before. I think maybe the first one that you did. I remember that was several years ago. So you're a very talented artist. And I love that because being an artist as well, we were kind of talking about that for a second before we started, but it is nice, right? When you're working in these really high thinking kind of jobs, it's a lot of stress. There's a lot going on when you're dealing, especially running a software company. I can speak to that firsthand. It's a lot, it's a lot to deal with, but then having the art to go back to sort of almost rest your brain. Do you feel like that is a restful time for your mind after all the stress of every day, just getting to sit down and make some art?
Yes, most definitely. And I feel I've made so many connections that way, Melissa. The book that you're talking about, that was around the world with 80 artists, and we got 22 countries represented in that book. And it was really a labor of love, I think, by everyone who participated. But yes, I do feel, there are times that I remember very clearly hitting a roadblock with an assignment or a difficult problem, and just, taking some time out and going and doing some art journaling or some painting, because while I was doing something with my hands, my brain in the background was it was still working on the problem without it seeming too intense. And sometimes in the middle of that creative exercise, I would have aha moments, and, I could go back to my work with a refreshed mind. And I feel that has really helped me throughout my life to deal with stress, to deal with problems that were not getting solved. So yes, I do feel it offers me that respite.
It's nice. I do the same thing too. And I get too overwhelmed with something. Sometimes when you can't figure something out, just stepping away. And I was just thinking when you were talking about, I don't know if you've read this book, but it's Stillness is the Key. I think it's Mark Holliday. It's a very good book, but what he talks about is the whole concept of rest, and that when you rest your mind, that's when the creativity and the ideas can come, but our minds are just going all the time. But when you're engaged in an activity like making art, it's exactly like you described. Your mind just, even though you're preoccupied with your hands and you're, kind of focused on what you're doing, you do still have those problems in the back of your mind, but that piece of your brain, I think, is resting. So it's, the rest isn't always take a nap, or lay down or something. It can be found in those creative outlets like that.
I completely agree with you there.
Yeah. Do you find that you're the creative part, are you able to find ways to incorporate that into what you're doing in your software company?
Most definitely, yes, because a large part, I think, of building any kind of software solution is to offer a very smooth and a very good user experience. And so the way I started at the company was I was heading the UI UX team, which is the interface and user experience team. And we were working on BlackBerry applications at the time. This is about 9 or 10 years ago. And I remember that our application hit world #1 across all geographies and all verticals on BlackBerry App World, sorry. And one of the things that people really loved was the user experience, was the way that we had designed the icons and the way that we had placed them on the screen, the whole flow. So I feel that, yes, it has really, really helped me. And not only in designing the products, but also designing a very inspirational workspace. Our work environment is very colorful, full of fun, very unlike traditional software companies.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my creative side has really helped me to create that at work.
I like that. And do you find that kind of goes into the culture of your organization too? Just that, are most people like, are you hiring kind of with some, is that kind of like a core value or something that's, you know, heavily promoted in your company where you bring people on that fit into that sort of culture?
Most definitely, because I feel like, I mean, being creative, it's not just about, painting or drawing, though that is the way I express my creativity. I feel you have to be very creative when you're designing software as well. You have to think out of the box. Writing the code is a very small part of the entire process. Basically, what you're doing is you're solving a problem for someone and you're designing a solution. And I feel if you come towards the problem with an open mindset and a creative way in which you want to solve the problem, you end up with a much, much better product.
I agree. I remember that being a big discussion when we were getting ready, we were kind of mapping out the CRM project, and trying to figure out, what do people want? How's the experience going to be for them? Is this easy to use? And it takes so many different twists and turns, right? Because sometimes what you think people want isn't exactly, right, for one thing. And then you've got to think of like creative ways, like something that seems like it would work to you doesn't, when you put it out for testing, right? Sometimes people are like,
Yeah.
oh, this doesn't work. That's difficult. How many people are on your team right now?
So currently we have about 135 people that span across various technologies. We do software development, we have a UI UX team, then we have a data science and analytics team. We're doing a lot of machine learning work as well. So a lot of creative folks doing a lot of different things. And I feel that just, giving them that environment also, where they can see colors and inspirational things all around. I mean, I've gotten feedback from so many of them saying that it helps them also to take a break from work. Just to look around, to freshen up their mind and just look at something else. So I think that it's really important actually for all of us to have some sort of creative aspect in our lives to balance what we do 9 to 5.
I like that you really, what you said about having your software company, being bright and colorful and fun, because you're right. Like most of the time you go in a software company, it's kind of like, it's like the same thing, but I can imagine probably what your space is like. And it probably is very colorful and warm and inviting. And I like that you took even just the aesthetic of the business and used the creativity for that, because I think if you're right, if we could find ways to express our creativity in what we're doing, even as something so kind of bland as software, I think that's exciting. So I know, for me, I buy houses that are run down and I fix them up and I make them pretty again and sell them. And for me, I've said for years now, that is my way to be creative. When I can't sit down at my art table and, with a canvas or art journal or something, I can still be creative in my job, with picking paint colors or tiles or, designing a project. Do you have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Good.
Just want to share a little anecdote. It's so fun. When I joined the company, it was mostly all white walls and software engineers looking very serious and just doing their work. And I remember a couple of years in, I said, let's have a painting competition. And they were like, what? You want us to paint? And I was like, just anything and everything. And so we took all the different software teams who were working on different clients' projects. So, kind of made it a little competitive. And I said, go to town, paint on the walls, paint on the canvas, do whatever you want. And just the vibe that I got while just, watching all of these developers and, scientists, mathematicians just painting, they were having a blast. And some of them actually did some very, very good work. But, just after that, they were so relaxed and, they just felt so refreshed. So I do really think that creativity is a very, very crucial part of who we are as human beings.
Definitely. Have any of them, now that they've had that experience, have they continued? Do they still continue to make art maybe, or did you inspire something in some of them in some way?
Yes, I do get a lot more requests now for rooms being painted certain colors. They make their own decor choices. They want certain posters up on their walls. Someone has a mug collection, they display that. All of these little things that were not really in the environment before. And I think these little, because we spend so much time at work, it's 8 or 9 hours at work, and then we come home, and if you put in the sleep about 8 hours, it's like a second home. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to feel that way for everyone there so that they feel comfortable. And I think, when you were talking about, making houses pretty and selling them again, I feel like your environment really has a direct impact on the work product that you will produce. I think beautiful spaces and inspirational spaces are so important for you to do a good job. It's not a frivolous luxury. I actually feel in my life it has been a necessity. In whatever way I have been able to, bring beauty around me, that's been crucial to my everyday life.
I agree with that a lot, because I have a lot of people that come in my office and they're like, oh, your office is so cute. And I always tell them, thank you, I appreciate that. I said, but honestly, I have to have my space.
Yeah.
Pretty, or what, something that, like, I like to be surrounded with things that make me happy. So yes. My office is completely different from the rest of my house. I feel like my office is actually like the best reflection of me and who I am. So I've got art from, local artists, and art from all my travels, and my own art in here, and inspirational type things. And I think these are all ways that you can make your space a place where you want to be. And really, I feel like I work better when I enjoy my space, right? Because if you think about, a lot of people have like the cubicle desk kind of thing, and you haven't a chance to express too much creativity in something like that. But what are some ways do you think people could bring creativity into their workspace if they kind of have a situation like that, where maybe they just have a cube to work in, or a really small space? Do you have any suggestions?
Sure, I do. So a lot of when I was working and I just had, one desk, or during my master's, no desk at all, I made sure that whatever stationery I was carrying around with me, whether it was my planner or my folder, it would give me some respite. So no matter where I would sit and open it up and work or plan, I felt inspired. On desks, my desk is super cluttered in my studio. I have all sorts of little mementos, things that I picked up from my travels, little inspirational, frames, pictures of family. So there's a lot of ways in which you can, bring that little bit of color and a little bit of you into that space, so that it's for you. It's not just a generic space. It then becomes you more comfortable there. And I feel that if you are more comfortable, you will, work better. You will produce better work products. So we used to have cubicles at FiveRivers as well. And we had competitions actually where we had everyone decorate their cubicle. And, they had bulletin boards on all three sides. So a lot of them would, put things up, little lights, just all sorts of things. It was literally like seeing their inner child come out and play. So they had a blast with that. And now we have an open plan where we have a lot of walls where we do murals. We put up inspirational quotes, things that speak to us. And every once in a while, we do, we redo the whole thing. And instead of having someone come from the outside and do it, we try to, involve the entire company. Another way that they are allowed to express their creativity is our Halloween party, actually, every year. So we have this, and they go, it's amazing. Some of the costumes are like professional, and they take so much pride and they put in so much work. And, just that one day of having fun and playing like little kids, it really does a lot. Not only, I think, for the individual, but for the entire company, because they get to bond over something. Mm-hmm. They get to learn something about someone else. Oh, this project manager is a huge fan of the Mario Brothers. This project manager loves Harry Potter. Things that, would not come up in like your everyday conversations. Mm-hmm. So I think, these are ways in which I've tried to bring the creativity in, and I feel that the company and my teams have responded really, really well. And in fact, they've taken it up a notch than what I ever thought it would be.
Nice. That's really good too, just from another perspective for retention, mm-hmm. especially in the software industry, the turnover can be high, especially like in a customer support and those kinds of roles. But I think having that culture and having that really encouraging creativity in the workspace probably makes people want to stay longer, wouldn't you think?
Yes, it makes them want to stay longer. Sometimes they leave and they come back within 2 months. That also happens. So
that's the best, right?
yeah. When I hear those stories, I'm like, yes, we're doing something right. I've always told them, I want us to feel like a family, because we work together, we're in this together. We try and offer support for personal problems, counseling. I actually want them to feel like they are a part of something bigger. They're not just, one piece in a machine. They are actually a very integral part of the whole system, of the family. And I actually really feel like that with them now. And at work, I feel super comfortable. A lot of people have come and told me that, they really feel like it's a second home to them. So I feel like that's a big creative win for me, just being able to create that atmosphere.
Nice. I love that. So I really appreciate your time this morning and sharing, just sharing a little bit about how you can bring creativity into the workspace. And no matter what you're doing, there are opportunities to do that. So I thank you so much for your input and for your time. And if people want to learn more about you with software and with the art too, because I know the art is amazing, how can people find you?
So I'm MZ Creates on Facebook and Instagram, and my books are by the same name on Amazon. So that's Mahe Zehra. I just use the M and the Z. And then the company that I'm heading currently is FiveRivers Technologies. So that's, we have a website. You guys can look us up. We're also on Facebook, where you can see all of our wonderful Halloween pictures.
I am definitely going to check that out. Well, thank you again so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me.